Welcome to the Don Panther Podcast.
Welcome to The Least Among Us. We're here with a special student, special guest.
Martha Scars.
Martha, we're glad to have you here. And we want to take this opportunity just to get to know a little bit about you.
Yes.
We've been on this exploration together as in school, learning about a lot of different things, but we want to hear your story today and give you an opportunity to really share the full story of who Martha is.
Yes.
And I first we start, and I see you've shared with us an artistic representation on your face. Can you tell me a little bit? Dawn Spirit.
I wanted to show my love for Dawn because it's literally changed my life for the better.
So,
and I thought I represent that through art on my face. I also have a disconnection from my face and my body. So when I watch his back, I want to see something different other than my human face.
So you chose to paint it.
Yeah, to make it more abstract. Because I don't feel like I'm in my body at all ever. Very rarely I feel like I'm attached to my body. It's to the point where I feel like I'm a floating spirit. So the fact that I have a face is, what is the word? Dysphoric.
Just everything about
having a face,
what you present. The physical. Can you share a little bit about sometimes you have trouble opening your eyes all the way.
Oh, yeah, and my voice gets a little raspy and like an old white man.
Yeah, just give our viewers and listeners a little bit an idea of what you've been through and why maybe there's this disconnection that you're feeling.
I have serious mental health issues.
Mental health issues?
Yes. I was put on medicine for, I was put on an antipsychotic. My psychiatrist didn't know the symptoms of my antipsychotic. It gave me the rare side effect that people get in my age range, where you start having eye spasms and throat spasms. It was to the point where I literally couldn't see for an entire summer. My mom had to guide me around. She had to cook my meals. I could barely use my phone. I could barely answer the phone because I couldn't see the buttons. And if the psychiatrist knew the symptoms of the medicine she was giving me, I might not have this permanent side effect. I have to take medicine for it each and every day, 3 times a day, just so my eyes don't close. And my throat doesn't sound as bad as it did. If you saw me on the bus, when I was on the bus, and I said, "Thank you" to the man, and he went this. He went back. He's like, "That sounds like an old white man." Like that's what the expression was on his face. Because that's how bad my voice was at that point.
He said you sounded like an old white man.
He didn't say that. That's what the expression on his face said.
That's what you
I interpreted it.
Yeah. Wow.
Because I really did sound like I was an old white man who's been smoking for like 50 plus years.
And this is a reality you live with every day.
Yeah, then my voice can just get worse one day, and then it gets all crackly, and I can't completely, my sentences don't sound complete.
Okay.
Because if I don't take my medicine, my spasms get even worse.
Yeah.
And then I sound kind of really crackly.
Yeah. So, and this is a recent...
Yeah, this happened last year. I had to stop going to school because I couldn't see. Because I had no transportation other than the metro bus.
Okay.
So I had to actually stop going to school, which was very bad for me.
Yeah. It's tough not to go to school, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? So you're in 12th grade here at Don. You're working towards graduation.
Yeah.
And it's exciting. You're a great student. This challenge, specifically with mental health, can you walk us through what kept you out of school for many years, and when did you first notice this is part of your story?
I've been depressed since I was 5, suicidal when I was 8. My grandma died, and that's why I had to stop going to school. Because my mom stopped taking me, and by 11, when the school year came around, She says we made a decision, me being an 11-year-old, and she being an adult. We made a decision for me not to go to school anymore. Because I didn't want to get bullied anymore. But again, I was an 11-year-old. I don't know the consequences of those actions.
Yeah.
And she treated me like I was an adult, making that decision.
Yeah.
But I don't blame her for it. It's not her fault. It's no one's fault what's happened to me.
Yeah. When you say
It's just
bullied,
consequences.
you were afraid of being bullied at school.
Yeah, again, because I was really bullied at school. I don't remember how much it affected me, but I know it affected me a lot.
Yeah.
And then I stopped going to school until I turned 17 in January. January of when I turned 17. I stopped going to school for like 6+ years.
Wow. Out of school for 6 years. Over 6 years.
Around 6 years.
Wow. And so let's take a step back real quick.
Yeah.
Can you tell me some of the you talked about being bullied. What kind of things were part of your reality when
Just
you were
insults about my weight. I can't hardly remember it now. It's been so long.
young? Yeah.
Just insults my intelligence. Just a lot of like schoolyard bullying. But that really does put effect on a child. Because you don't understand you don't have the coping skills.
Yeah.
And I had this one bully, I won't name him. But I was so afraid of him that when I started having, like, I have schizophrenia. I'm diagnosed with that. So when I started having, like, going into paranoia when I was 11, I was always afraid that he would find me and murder me. That's how afraid I was of this boy. That might have also been because of the paranoia from my schizophrenia developing, but he really put fear into me.
And what was the message at home? Were you sharing this with anybody?
No, I hid all my mental illness from everyone until I turned around 15. And then it kind of just, my mom says, like, it slowly started adding things. Like, I slowly kept opening the box more and more and more until it exploded and I had to go to the psych ward. For the first time.
Yeah. Wow. And so you leave school when you're 11.
Yes. Well, technically it was when I was 10.
Okay.
Because, like, I finished the school year when I was 10.
Yeah.
Then in September I turned 11.
Yeah.
And then I haven't been in school since then until January of last year.
Yeah. It's a long time outside of school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of our students have experienced lengthy periods outside of school, but I'm not sure 6.5 years. That's significant.
Yeah.
What did you do during this time? You got 6 years.
I started to spiral. My schizophrenia symptoms started when I was 11. Paranoia, delusions. And my paranoia was that people are going to break into my house and assault me. I had a delusion that my mom, that I was sent here by God for my mother, and that I was meant to be her doormat, and I was meant to be the doormat for my whole family, and I'm useless other than being used as a tool for my family to feel better. That's a better way of explaining it.
Yeah. So you're taking in all these as a doormat. What's a doormat? What's the purpose
Like
of a
you get
doormat?
walked over. You're ignored.
Yeah.
You're not noticed. You're just a doormat.
So you're going through a challenge with bullying at school, and then it internalizes?
Yeah, like all those things the bully said, and then my family started to bully me. Because my niece and nephew were younger, and they'll bully me and say I'm fat and like very bad things to me. But they're also young. I forgive them. So that bullying kind of molded my self-esteem to be even less
Yeah.
than it already was. Because I was suicidal since I was 8. I didn't want to be here anyway. I'm 11. Now I'm trapped. I call it isolation trauma. Because it was really a trauma for me, being in the house.
Isolation trauma.
Yeah, isolation trauma.
Say more about that.
It's like, I was trapped in 4 walls. And that was my only place to go. I had nowhere else to go. So I just stayed in the house. So I call it isolation trauma because I was isolated and it was a trauma. Very simple.
And so you're living alone.
Yeah.
In a sense. That's what
Because I was there until, so my niece and nephew, they went to school. So I'll be there from the time they went to school. My sister left for work. My mom left for work. Until my sister came home around 3 or 4. So all those hours, I'll just sit and watch TV. And then I'll have, like, if I wanted to be alone with my thoughts, I'll just lay in bed. And I would constantly think someone's going to break into my house and sexually assault me and batter me and kill me. Because I was watching crime shows. And that enhanced the paranoia that I had from the schizophrenia developing. And I would just wait until my sister got home. So I felt safe. Because, like, if I die, I'll die with my sister. I won't die alone. That was the only comfort. But I was also suicidal. So I don't know why I was afraid of death at that time. It was just madness.
Yeah. That's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, there's even more stuff, but I'm going to let you go as you... I don't want to lead the conversation while you lead the conversation.
Martha, whatever you feel like sharing, it's important that we hear it. I'm curious. So you're talking a lot about this time alone at home, the media maybe having an effect on what you're thinking about, what you're learning about.
Yeah, the crime shows were very toxic for me. It was like I was addicted to watching them. I watched them all the time, watching my mom, because I was addicted to the fear that I had from watching the shows.
Addicted to the fear.
Yes.
That's a powerful statement.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Addicted to fear.
Like, I wanted to feel scared. I wanted someone to hurt me. I wanted it to end. So I addicted to the fear of that happening. Because I wanted it to happen so badly, so I didn't have to do it myself. It got worse and worse and worse and worse.
Avalanche kind of snowballs into something bigger.
Yeah.
Can you take us even further back from this like adolescent age, even into you have a very well known father.
Yes.
Can you share a little bit about him and maybe some of the impact that he had on your life or your mom had on your life and these people you were learning from?
My father didn't have too much of an impact on my life other than the trauma of him not being there. Because the only thing I had of him was a poster. It was 3 photos. One with him, my mom, and me when I was a baby. One of him, I forget what the third picture is. I think it was just him and my mom. And that's what my dad was. I still have the poster. But I don't know.
Who's your dad to society?
Oh, yeah. Kabaka Abba, the general.
Yeah.
He was an activist in Cincinnati. And I don't know much about him.
Is that intentional?
No one. Everyone tells these stories that he was a good guy, but no one goes any farther than that. And I can never know him like I can know you or Mr. Starks or anyone else because I don't get to talk to him because I didn't get to have him. And that trauma lingers. That trauma of losing your father in any way can stick with you for life because it's a lifelong trauma. All those instances where your father's meant to be there to take care of you, protect you, help you, you don't have. So it's a trauma that goes on for your lifetime. And I feel like that's what's going to happen to me. It's going to be a trauma I have to deal with the rest of my life.
Yeah. You lost him.
Yeah.
How old?
I was 2.
2.
I think I was 19 months. I'm not sure. I think I was 2.
Yeah. And so you felt like you're hearing this story of who he was.
Yeah.
Without ever...
knowing it from the horse's mouth.
Yeah. Wow. You had spoken to me a little bit about young children, especially young girls growing up without fathers.
Yes, that conversation.
Do you remember that conversation?
Yes, you want to recreate it?
I just think it was so interesting what you said about where we look for love.
Okay, so the fact that I didn't have a father and I might have been sexually abused It's a 50-50. But the fact that I didn't have a father to take care of me and a boyfriend is like, could be my dad. Because I need someone to do what the dad role and the boyfriend role. I'm trying to mix them together. That's what my brain's just naturally doing. Because I explained it better to you before.
No, you're doing well.
But it's like you search for a father in a man. And the only men who are around are your boyfriends. Because no one's going to want to be your dad. They're going to want to be your girlfriend. They're going to be wanting to be your boyfriend. So then you kind of want them to fill that father role. Because you want a supportive man in your life. And then, how do I explain this correctly? It's like he doesn't know that.
The man.
The man does not know that. And if he does know that, he uses it as a power play to make the relationship more manipulative. Because she's seeing you as a father and the boyfriend. Yeah. And that puts too much responsibility on your boyfriend. So you see how this kind of makes a toxic relationship?
Yeah.
Especially with me. Because, like, this happened where I fall in love with authority figures. So, like, when I was going through isolation, the figure that was the man I looked up to was people on TV. Then it expanded people on YouTube. Then it expanded when I went to the psych ward and I finally got reintroduced to random people. Because I was never talking like people on the street and stuff. Because I wasn't leaving the house. So psych wards when I finally got to talk to some people my age and talk to people I don't know. I fell in love with one of the staff workers. Because I'm looking for a supportive figure. But my brain was lumping him in as a partner. And I told you about Rebecca. If you want, do you want to talk about Rebecca?
Rebecca is a character.
She's not a character.
She's a
alter
ego.
No, an alter is an altered state of identity. Is what it's called. They're called alters.
Okay.
I have dissociative identity disorder. I am diagnosed with it.
Okay.
And
what does that mean?
I do it this is the simplest way I put it.
Yeah.
I have people in my head who can control my body.
Okay.
It's caused by trauma.
Okay.
Between the ages of 0 to 9. Repeated trauma is what makes your brain kind of dissociate and break into pieces. So, like, there's dissociative layers. Like, I'm a puzzle, but with walls around each piece.
Yeah.
So it's not a full puzzle anymore. You can see the puzzle, but they're walled off.
Like fragmented.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Someone called it like a tree, and the branches are branching off.
Yeah.
Rebecca is in love with a guy right now, and it's because she's looking for her father. So she doesn't look for men, but she obsesses on men, and then she wants to recreate that dynamic, which can be toxic because they can manipulate that dynamic. Because your father's not meant to be your lover; they're not meant to cross. But that's how she thinks, and this is the big thing I want to highlight: mental illness is not correct.
Not correct.
The things I think are not logical thinking.
Yeah.
It's not, I guess, I don't want to say normal, but it's not unproblematic. Because it's my ill mind trying to put puzzles together. Because another thing about Rebecca is that she's kind of internalized all those past things we saw in media. Because when we were around 8 years old, up till we were 10, my grandma died. We were watching Special Victims Unit. So we were normalized to the fact that fathers do this. Is it right? Is it wrong? We don't care. They just do it. And I want that. Because I didn't get to have a father. But if I had someone who could fill that father role and be my partner, that would be peace.
Wow.
I might not explain that correctly. That's not the best way I can explain
even
it.
Even me just sitting here listening to you and knowing you fairly well, like there's so much in what you're sharing, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like you've developed your own mechanism to try and heal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a healing, it's a coping skill. Because not all coping skills are good.
Yeah. And a lot just allow us to get through something.
Yeah.
So what of Rebecca and these alternate realities,
alternate identities,
sorry, that you've created allow you?
I haven't created them. They create themselves with trauma and pain.
Can we say the trauma creates them?
Yeah.
What how do you interact with them now? And what purpose do they have? A purpose, do you feel, or are they just something you accept? And
they all come from something.
Yeah.
They're not just here because it's fun to be possessed. I'm not possessed by, sometimes I say I feel like I'm possessed.
Yeah.
Because it's an easier way of explaining it to people.
Yeah.
But they're not here for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't purposely make them. It's because I'm so stressed, and the trauma and the pain keeps breaking people off my consciousness. Like I'm shattering more and more. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened with Rebecca.
More fragments.
Yeah, more fragmented.
Yeah.
The only reason why you see me as Martha right now is because I'm in control the most. If it was Rebecca, she would say, I'm Rebecca. You would know me as Rebecca. You would talk to me in a different way because Rebecca talks a different way. She understands things a different way. She learns a different way. She's just a different person. You wouldn't, if you knew Rebecca, you wouldn't talk to her how you talk to me. You would be different. It would be a different relationship. It would be a different person.
And who do you think most people see you?
They see me as Martha.
They see you as Martha.
Because I'm out the most, and I talk the most, and I'm here the most. Yeah. I'm technically called the host in a dissociative identity disorder system. The host is the one who's around the most.
Yeah. Wow. This kind of picture of your life is truly like
massive.
Massive.
It's I think too much. Yeah. I think a lot.
Yeah.
Like all the time. I never get quiet. Yeah. Either people in my head are talking to me, someone externally is talking to me, something external I'm watching is talking at me.
Yeah.
And I never get quiet. Always some kind of chatter going on.
Do you believe there's power in that chatter?
It really can shape you. Because I'm constantly getting input from something. So it does shape how I do things.
A lot of data.
Yeah, it's a lot of information. It's like information overload.
Yeah, and you're trying to process it all.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. So, one way I know you is as an artist. I mean, I see it on your face right now. Can you share a little bit about your experience with art? I know this might be a completely different segue.
Yeah,
but
I know.
It's part of you, and it's part of what you share when you write in the classroom, when you pick up a pencil and you draw and you paint. Can you share a little bit about your expression there?
I express myself through visual and written art. I want to get into movies and TV shows and short films, but right now just visual and written. My art is mostly about emotions, trauma, sometimes joy, very rarely, and abstract art to show my emotions on something external so I can get out. But sometimes I can't even paint some paintings because it's just too emotional. I need to get into a certain space where I can delve into that safely and not have a breakdown.
Yeah.
So some drawings have been like that.
It's like the paint. What does it serve you as? What does these drawings and paintings serve for you?
I think it helps me express and visualize. Just expression and visualizing.
Yeah.
And
they all have a story.
Yeah, every single one of them. Most of them. The ones in Mr. Starks' classroom, most of those don't have stories because they're too happy. Or they're too random. Like the apple one with the teeth. That was just the apple with teeth. That ain't got no story. She ain't here.
Just an apple with teeth.
Yeah.
I love it.
Or like the mermaid one. She's just a black mermaid on a couch.
Yeah. And what's the inspiration for your art?
My trauma.
Yeah.
When I do random things, it's just me doing random things because I have the skill. When I first started doing art was to have an expression, have escape. And I saw the little drawings now.
Expression of escape, you said?
Expression and escape.
And escape. What do you say more about that?
I just wanted to show it on paper so I can feel more valid. And I just wanted something that was mine. Because at that time, I felt like I had nothing other than a TV show I watched, which was Supernatural. But I felt like I had nothing that I owned. Because I was sharing a bedroom with my mom. My house was full. Because like most family was living there. In the house together. Very tightly cramped. Things were always messy. I had nothing that I owned. Even my dolls. I had a doll collection of 83 dolls. They took up the whole escape of my room. And they're my passion project. Because I felt like I had something that I owned. And I had to eventually move on from that. Because it was keeping me in a state of being a child. I wanted to grow up. So I had to let it go. So maybe one day I'll let go of art. But probably not. That probably won't happen.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it's too deep rooted. It's not the dolls. The dolls are made by someone else. The art is made from me.
Something you created.
Yeah, something that I own.
Is it perhaps someone looking at your art? What are they going to say about it?
Well, people say a lot of things. Mostly they say it's great. And I say thank you. And they ask me about the story, and I tell them the story behind it. Like, oh, that's so interesting. That's so insightful. That's so great. I love it. My mom and some other people were like, that's really dark. That's really sad. I don't know. I get mixed things from different. It depends on the person. If you like my art, you do. If you like the aesthetic version of my art, but not the story, I get that too. You know, I get a lot of different opinions. Because my art's very dark. If you look at the darker pieces I have made.
Such an expression, both sad and happy.
Yeah, but mostly sad.
Mostly sad.
Mostly something about turmoil. But yeah, it's just paintings, you know. There's deeper meanings in some of the paintings, and it shows how the world is and how people think of things, and it's very psychological.
Yeah. So we have we know you as an artist.
Yes.
Right? A lot of people do. And you said something interesting about value.
Yeah.
Right? And you looking for value.
Yeah.
And I know there are times when you don't feel like yourself, and you're maybe perhaps looking for some sort of validation of who you are presenting yourself.
Yeah. Like I feel like I'm not damaged enough, or I'm not traumatized enough, or I'm never enough. I'm never good enough. I'm not valid. I feel like that a lot. I feel like I've just downplayed my own trauma so much. I thought about it so much. I'm so desensitized to it to where I'm like, oh, that's nothing. That's nothing. You're not valid. You don't do anything right.
That's what you're telling yourself.
But yeah, I tell myself that, and the people in my head tell me that. Like, I have Echo, and he's been around since I was 15. That was when I had that big break where the people started coming. The people in my head. And Echo and Voice, they would just berate me all the time. You're ugly, you're stupid, you're disgusting, you're vile, you don't do anything right, everything is wrong, you should be worried, you're not worth living. And I feel like that's all a combination of all the pain I felt from when I was first getting bullied all the way up to 15, where they've internalized, my brain has internalized all the information to the point where it had a break, and it broke off a person just to tell me those things, because it was a thought pattern. But now there's a whole person who could control my body, who could say those things to me out loud now. And it not being me saying them. It's them.
You got Rebecca.
And Echo. Voice is gone. He disappeared. I don't know where he went.
Voice was there. Who was Voice?
It's a weird relationship I had with him. He was like the main aggressor. And he would just say the most vile things to me. Tell me to hurt people. And do things to me. It's scary because they can control my body. Like, people don't get that. People are like, oh no, it's just you. No. I'm possessed. Not literally possessed, but that's the only way I can describe it for you to understand. I can't control what they do. And Rebecca and Echo have been hurting me on my arm, cuts. Because they've just been feeling so bad since our recent hospitalization. So I can't control that either. I can't control when Rebecca wants to do things. Can't control when Echo wants to do things. I just have to dissociate and watch. Them use my body that I don't even feel connected to. It's terrible. So I don't want it.
The only person you feel connected to is who?
I don't feel connected in my body at all.
Yeah.
I don't. What do you mean by connected to other people?
Are you Martha?
Yes.
Is that when we see Martha?
Yes.
We're talking right now.
Yeah.
Is Martha the one that you feel? You say you don't feel connected to Echo, Voice, Rebecca.
Yeah, they're separate people.
Separate people.
Yeah, but I'm Martha right now.
Yeah.
I'm using the body. I'm in control. I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm Martha right now.
So I sit here and I wonder about some of your classmates.
Yeah.
Some people in our community who may be struggling with mental health.
Yeah.
Especially since the pandemic. And people being isolated. I mean,
I've dealt with that.
You've dealt with it, right?
Quarantine made it last longer than it should have. My mom was sending me to the library with her. She's like, we're going to get you out. Yeah. We're going to have you, do things with people now. Yeah. And then COVID hit, and she's like, you got to stay in the house. You don't like you getting sick.
Yeah.
And I was like, I literally had another break. I was like, ugh. And then I started spiraling down.
Yeah.
So that made it worse. COVID made it worse.
So my question is, what would you like to share with your classmates, with other people who may be struggling with mental health?
It's okay. You
yeah, as a true challenge for them.
It's not going to be easy. It's probably going to get worse because you're not old enough to You're not old enough to know all the coping skills. If you're just figuring out that you have mental illness, it's going to be it could be a lifelong roller coaster. It just depends on what you got. You got to figure out what you have. And then look for older people try and help you. You go get professional help because your family and your friends aren't going to know how to treat that because we're not taught about it. And professionals really do help. Especially if you don't have friends and you're alone like me. It's a nightmare. And you have to try and live with that nightmare. Because right now, I don't want to be here. If I had a choice, I wouldn't be here right now. But the only reason why I'm still living is because I had no good plans on how I could not be here. So it's going to be a nightmare. But maybe one day you'll get out of it. And you'll have those days where things are good. Then you have days where things are bad. You have to work through it. It's it's a roller coaster. It never stops. If it stops for you, that's good. But I'm not going to give you that. I'm not going to lie to you and say that's going to end smoothly. And you're not going to have to do some things like the Rebecca cutting me and stuff. That's just a progression of my illness. It's like a disease. You know, you go through your different stages, and then you either get cured or you die. I'm trying to live with it. It's like a disease you live with until you die naturally.
For those who may not consider themselves to have a mental health issue, what would you like them to know?
You really need to do some introspection. Just in case, because it can hide itself with other things. And if you don't deal with it, eventually it'll explode. And you don't want to explode. If you feel like you don't have a mental health issue, that's okay. But I would think, just be self-aware. So you don't end up hurting yourself or others. Just be self-aware and know why are you doing the things that you're doing. Why are you making these actions? And if they're toxic, try and change them. Slowly get better. Discover you might have a mental health issue and work through it. With the help of doctors or the help of friends and family. But I would prefer you to go to doctors because they know more and they help better. And family have that emotional, side to where they're scared for you. The doctors are scared for you too, but they're not like your family who's clouded by their judgment of you. How they view you is clouds how they can help you. So professionals are the best.
We all have our inner demons.
Yeah, just minor, very extreme. And yours might not be. You might just have depression. I'll use depression as an example. You might just have depression. So you feel very sad and depressed. You can't shower. You can't eat. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. But you're still valid, even if it's not as intense as someone else's. You don't have to be on the extreme side to be mentally ill. It can be moderate, or it can be little, or it can be not at all, or it can be extreme. You just don't notice it because you're not thinking the things that you're doing. You're not thinking about the actions that you're doing. You're not thinking about your actions. I got a little lost there. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I feel like I'm speaking to someone who has a wealth of information about this. Like, you're ready to be a therapist yourself.
I was going to be a therapist, but then I was like, I can barely deal with my illness. How am I going to take care of someone else's?
I think there's maybe power in that sharing.
Yeah, that's what I want to do with my art. I want to share. Oh yeah, my art. I want people to be able to express their emotions visually by seeing my art. Because a lot of my art has scars in it. That's why the art scars comes in. That's why the last name scars. And it's so people can stop doing that to themselves. If they look at a picture of it, maybe they won't do it to themselves. And that's what I used to do. I used to draw it, so I didn't do it to myself. But now that train sailed.
I think we listened in class to, this is a little off topic, but, some rap music. And Tupac talked about how he wrote violence into his music so he didn't perpetrate it on the streets.
Yeah, that's what I do in my writing.
You're writing.
Yeah.
You're not just an artist, but you're
a writer. Yeah.
A writer. Speak for a moment about that.
My writing's very dark. Like, it's as dark as my drawn art. But it just shows just me, my delusional thoughts in words. It's my delusional thoughts in words. Yeah.
And that's a tool.
Yeah, to express it, let go, and to show it to others, and they get some enjoyment out of it, or they get disgusted, because my art's not meant to be giving you joy.
Yeah.
It's meant to challenge you. It's meant to make you think. That's what I want. I want you to think. I want you to think about a different perspective. And you need to, so you can understand other people better. Yeah.
That's a golden nugget right there.
Yeah.
You want people to think.
Yeah. Because people don't think. Like, I think all the time. That's why I'm able to talk about so many things. Because I think about it all the time. I'm always thinking about different people's experiences, their lives, what's going on with them. I love other people. And
I feel that.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people only think about themselves. So they stay in that bubble and they don't. They probably wouldn't understand the dad thing. But if I wrote about it, maybe they'll be able to accept it and understand it better. Or get a piece of what I have to them. Because I feel like when you're writing, it's all from you. But it's not who you are. It's what your brain is. Because you have all the negative things that come in your brain. You have all the positive. So, this is like an example. Like, if a guy wrote a book about Nazi, he's not a Nazi. He just has all the information about Nazis to make a book about it. That's from his brain. So that's what I do in my writing. I write about a lot of things, and it's all a combination of the information that I've had over my 18 years of life, written down into something, into a piece of poetry or the short story I'm writing right now. It's all dumped into there. It's just your brain. It's not you. It's your brain.
Yeah.
All things you experienced, all things you thought. You know, you can make a book about racist. Doesn't mean that you're racist. It means you have the information about racism to write a book about it.
And all those thoughts you have, you want people to have access to.
Yeah, so they can have a different perspective.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I, as a teacher, get to experience that every day, and I think it's wonderful. And I think stories like your own need to be more accessible. Yeah,
because it's very sad. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to touch anything sad, but it's like sometimes you need that sadness. You need to feel how someone else feels, so you can help them or understand them. And
have empathy.
Yeah.
I feel like you are on your way to creating a more empathetic world for our school and for hopefully the greater community, Martha.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Your work has so much in it.
Yeah.
And it's been a joy to hear some of your story. I know there's layers below it.
Yeah.
That maybe we can continue to dig into.
Yeah.
But for now,
it's over.
We'll wrap it up, okay?
Okay.
Thank you so much. Any last words you want to share?
Thank you for existing, Don. Because if you hadn't, I would have probably ran away from home and became a prostitute or something. Because that was one of my delusions. So, you've helped me a lot Yeah. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I thought it was going on for longer. But I don't know.
We can come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. We thank you. We thank you for being a Don student. This is The Least Among Us. We're here with Martha.
Yeah.
12th grader. Glad to have you on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you or someone you know is thinking or talking about suicide, help is available. There is a suicide hotline you can call anytime by simply dialing 988. In Hamilton County, you can call the Talbert House Crisis Line at 513-281-2273. Students at Dawn can get a referral to Poppy's Therapeutic Corner, which offers one-on-one and group counseling. Take suicide seriously and do your part to help prevent it.